Hello, and welcome to the Designing with Love podcast. I am your host, Jackie Pellegrin, where my goal is to bring you information, tips, and tricks as an instructional designer. Hello, GCU students, alumni, and fellow educators. Welcome to episode 61 of the Designing with Love podcast. Today, we're diving into a theory that's all about layering knowledge in a way that really sticks. It's called Elaboration Theory, and trust me, it's a game changer for designing engaging and effective learning experiences. So, grab a coffee, a notebook, and get cozy while we explore what makes this theory an essential tool for your ID toolkit. So, what exactly is Elaboration Theory? It was developed by Charles Reigeluth in the 1970s, and it focuses on how to sequence content to support meaningful learning. Rather than dumping a bunch of information on learners all at once, elaboration theory suggests we start with the simplest and most general ideas, what Reigeluth called an epitome, and then elaborate on that foundation with increasing levels of detail and complexity. Think of it like building a house. You don't start with the roof. You begin with the blueprint and foundation, and then add walls, windows, and yes, eventually the roof. All right. So let's say you're designing a course on digital photography. You'd begin with a broad overview of photography basics. What makes a good photo? The exposure triangle and camera types. That's your epitome. Then in the next module, you dive into aperture, ISO, and shutter speed individually, each in more detail. From there, you'd move into advanced topics like lighting techniques, composition rules, and post-processing. By layering the content like this, learners don't get overwhelmed, and they're more likely to understand how each piece fits into the bigger picture. Here are 3 reasons elaboration theory is so effective. It manages cognitive load. Learners aren't bombarded with complex ideas right away. They ease into the material. It promotes meaningful learning. New knowledge is always connected to what's already been introduced. And finally, it boosts retention. Revisiting and elaborating on earlier ideas helps lock them into long-term memory. So, as you probably noticed, there's a theme here with different theories that help make the elaboration theory so effective: cognitive load and connectivism. Reigeluth also emphasized using summaries and synthesizers. Think of them as tools that help learners connect the dots, such as concept maps, reflection prompts, even short quizzes or discussions at the end of each module can serve this purpose. And don't forget learner control. When possible, let your learners choose their path or revisit earlier content. It supports autonomy and engagement. Before we wrap up, let's talk about how you can actually implement elaboration theory in your next instructional design project. Here's a practical example. Let's say you're designing a course for new managers on leadership communication. Start with the epitome. Begin with a big picture module on what effective leadership communication looks like. Highlight key themes like active listening, clarity, and feedback. Layer in the details. In subsequent modules, elaborate on each theme. Perhaps one module focuses entirely on listening skills, another on how to give feedback, and another on nonverbal cues. Use synthesis activities. After each detailed module, ask learners to reflect on how that concept connects to what they learned previously. This could be a journal entry, group discussion, or role-play scenario. And finally, encourage learner control. Offer a flexible module structure so learners can revisit earlier concepts as they dig deeper. So, here's your Designing with Love call to action. Pick one course or lesson you're working on right now. Identify the simplest, most foundational concept in that course, your epitome. Then, sketch out 2 to 3 layers you could build on top of it. Finally, ask yourself, what details or complexities would naturally flow from this? Whether you're designing for a classroom, workplace training, or an online course, elaboration theory reminds us that learners thrive when instruction unfolds like a well-written story, starting simple and building with purpose. I hope you have found this information about elaboration theory helpful as you design learning experiences that are meaningful and leads to long-term results. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow the show and share it with your fellow designers, educators, and lifelong learners. And if you would like some visual tools to help you effectively implement elaboration theory, check out the link in the episode notes. To wrap up today's episode, here's an inspiring quote from Charles Reigeluth himself. Instruction should be elaborated in a way that makes the relationships among ideas explicit and accessible. When we help learners see how knowledge connects and grows, we're not just teaching, we're guiding a journey of discovery. Thank you for taking some time to listen to this podcast episode today. Your support means the world to me. If you'd like to help keep the podcast going, you can share it with a friend or colleague, leave a heartfelt review, or offer a monetary contribution. Every act of support, big or small, makes a difference, and I'm truly thankful for you.